So, as Rodney Dangerfield used to say, what a crowd! What a crowd!
Take my light, please.
I'd like to welcome you all to our final Sunday service in July. This is the final Sunday is always the lay service. Originally, this was scheduled, set up to be one that was run and orchestrated by our great friend and congregant, Ken Voss. Sadly, Ken had an accident several weeks ago and is not able to be here today. So you're stuck with me. I've been drafted to take his place, at least in terms of being the worship leader. And just happy to see you all here. I think we all can agree that we find ourselves right now in the, as they say in baseball, the dog days of summer. So we don't have the biggest gathering today, but all of you are very welcome, and it's just so great to see all of you. Announcements. Let's start with those. This week our steeple is lit to honor interfaith awareness and to highlight the United Nations International Days of Forgiveness. I'd like to thank Tim and Jonathan for helping set up this morning. We're all set to go here. It's great. The technical wizards, as usual, have done their thing. And I'd also like to thank all who helped yesterday in our food drive. Actually, the food drive continues through Tuesday. For those who are able to make a donation just by dropping by, we will take the donations to the Danville Food Shelf on Wednesday, and we do have several local needy families here in Beecham that we'll distribute the items to as well. So thank you for all who helped there. It was a good day yesterday, those of us who worked it, and it's always a heartfelt experience to have our drive. Thanks again.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Really good.
Here's Ellie. Good morning, Ellie. Any more announcements?
Do you want me to read this out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I got a text from Patty yesterday. So we are so happy. John Marshall's birthday was last week, I believe. But he and Jan Eastman's daughter, Samantha, blessed them with a baby girl yesterday.
Oh.
Her name is Peyton Elizabeth Hurst. Also, Patty got a call from Paul Clemens. Peg had a PET scan, and the results were unremarkable. That sounds just like Paul. With cancer, that's a good thing. So that was in Paul's tone, absolutely. And that's all that I have.
Tim, just to add to Paul and Peg's situation,
Yeah.
I saw Paul and Peg down at the teenage truck stop yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, okay, well then that's a good sign.
That's a very good
sign.
If you can eat that food, it's a very good sign.
It's big.
Big food.
I love their chicken and their cream puffs. Anybody who lives there, Friday's cream puffs.
Well, we know you make some of the best cream puffs around, so how do they compare?
They're, what's the word? Unremarkable? But they're,
Thank you, David.
when you want a little something, they're perfect.
Good. Did you mention John's birthday?
I did.
Okay, well, once again, happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John.
Any other announcements?
And I think Patty's birthday is Tuesday this week.
I don't know. August, I haven't done the newsletter.
I don't have a list of this week's birthdays. We'll probably forget one or two, but not on purpose.
Frank has a birthday on Thursday.
Well, there's one.
Yeah, okay.
And I can tell all of you that Frank and Patrice are working incredibly diligently, basically 24 hours a day, getting the town, themselves, helping with this, getting this church ready, and just many, many organizational tasks around PAMFest, which is coming up August 12th and 13th. And of course, all of us who are working with PAMFest, I have the honor of helping out a little bit there too. Please come and enjoy the show. It's going to be wonderful this year.
And as typical with FanFest, on Sunday, the 14th,
Correct.
some of the players stay over and they lead us in our worship that Sunday.
That's right, and we have two groups of performers who are going to be here that day. Maybe more will show up, but I can tell you, and that's frankly free of charge to anybody who wants to come. So it's one of the highlights of the week of the PAMFest weekend. So glad to be here on the 14th. Any other announcements? Okay. Bruce, let's go into the prelude.
Well, I told you what I was going to play, but then a little birdie who I think is named Sonia left something on the piano called the Iona Abbey music book. And so I'm going to modify what I planned and give you a little bit of this, something like this as well. So a twofer.
Oh, actually,
Thank you, Bruce. Now please join me in our Unison opening prayer that you'll find in your bulletin. Eternal light, shine into our hearts. Eternal goodness, deliver us from evil. Eternal power, be our support. Eternal wisdom, scatter the darkness of our ignorance. Eternal pity, have mercy on us. Grant that we may ever seek your face with all our heart, soul, and strength. And in your infinite mercy, bring us at last to the fullness of your presence, where we shall behold your glory and live your promised joys. Amen. As always, the church appreciates your tithes and offerings. We won't do a formal passing of the plate this morning. The 2 plates are over on the table behind the video camera. Be as generous as you can, and again, we are very, very grateful for the support you can give us in that area. So let's go to our concerns and celebrations today. Let's start with a moment of silent prayer. Who do we need to lift up today in prayer, and what are our joys and celebrations today? John.
I have one. Yesterday, while I was on Crystal Lake, the new paddleboard I was trying out had a catastrophic failure. And while I was in the middle of it, and so it had a hole punctured, and I ended up floating with my life vest and it back to shore. So not exactly how I want to use a new paddleboard. So I'm now in the process of trying to get it returned for another one.
And celebration that your life vest works.
Yes, yes, and that I was wearing one.
Did certain trials and tribulations on the Sea of Galilee ever cross your mind?
I didn't think it would be that rough.
Good, well, we're glad you made it.
Yeah.
Glad you made it.
What a surprise. And I didn't lose anything either. That's even happier, like a pair of sunglasses or a hat or something.
Or a cell phone.
Cell phone, car keys.
Good, so all's well, as they say, that ends well.
I have 2 people to hold in healing prayer. One is my brother-in-law, who it was a successful removal of a brain tumor, but now radiation is unfolding. They had planned to come to PAMFest, and now the diagnosis is that they need to attend to the radiation immediately. And the other is a community member, perhaps people spoke of Julie Hansen, who fell down the cellar stairs, and it was a couple hours when her daughter found her. She fractured her leg and had surgery on Thursday, is home healing.
Let's lift up Julie and Patrice's brother-in-law.
Francois, thank you.
Francois. Yeah.
Besides holding up Peyton Elizabeth Hurst, and her birth, let's celebrate in August. Patty Gardner's on the 2nd. Dawn Kempton is also on the 2nd. Frank is on the 4th. Frank Miller. Matt Kempton is on the 7th. Laura Fickus on the 9th. Mel Reese on the 14th. And Les Edwards on the 14th.
Celebrations all, and especially an actual birthday yesterday for John and Jane's grandfather. And
Continual prayers for my brother Frank and his family as they get ready this weekend to put the son to rest.
and this is a
A nephew of mine,
Frank, correct?
Frank Goss.
Yes.
They live in Marathon, Massachusetts, and they can't prepare this coming Saturday to lay the sun to rest.
Let's lift up Frank Goss as well. Let's continue to lift up our friend Butch, who continues his struggle with cancer. Let's lift up Ken Voss, who, and I haven't heard much about how he's doing, but I think he's doing okay. I don't think the injury was as catastrophic as it could have been, since it did actually involve a fibula, right?
femur.
A femur, I mean.
Yeah.
I get fibula and femur mixed up. We're very happy we have a nurse here to correct
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he didn't need surgery is pretty amazing. Tells it probably wasn't as bad of a fracture as it could have been, but he has to non-weight bear for a period of time, which I'm sure is a challenge, with the walker and all that. So, but that was Sonia's report last week when she talked to him, is that he was doing well and didn't feel like he needed anything from us down here. He's got people close by helping out. So.
Sharon is, I haven't checked with Sharon lately, but she's, she had an accident also.
Sharon Jones.
Sharon Jones. Yes, let's lift up Sharon. Sharon, I've heard sort of from a few folks that she's actually doing okay and getting a little better, so let's hope that trend continues.
I think it was like a TIA kind of situation for her,
Yeah.
what she told me.
Yeah.
Did you
All
say
of a sudden,
TIA?
everything was blank.
TIA. Okay.
Everything was blank, and then she was in bushes on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Can you repeat what Mary's saying? I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sharon Jones, when she had her accident,
Okay.
she probably had like a TIA of like
Memory. Yeah.
Because she said she was driving out of the parking lot at Price Chopper, and then the next thing she knew, she was in the bushes on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Pretty scary for her.
Yeah.
Therefore, we can be thankful that it wasn't worse given the circumstances. Okay, so let's lift up all of those who were just mentioned, and celebrate in your hearts the celebrations that we discussed. As we recite our prayer today, Prayer for Your Wild Soul, which is by John Donahue, whose video we will see very shortly. Give yourself time to make a prayer that will become the prayer of your soul. Listen to the voices of longing in your soul. Listen to your hungers. Give attention to the unexpected that lives around the rim of your life. Listen to your memory and to the inrush of your future, to the voices of those near you and those you have lost. Out of all of that attention to your soul, make a prayer that is big enough for your wild soul, yet tender enough for your shy and awkward vulnerability, that has strength to gain the ointment of divine forgiveness for your wounds, enough truth and vigor to challenge your blindness and complacency, enough graciousness and vision to mirror your immortal beauty. And now, as we close our time of concern and celebration, let's all together recite the prayer that Jesus Christ taught us by saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the power and the glory forever. Amen. So, today we are going to take a spiritual journey, a pilgrimage through Ireland, led by John O'Donoghue, who is the late John O'Donoghue, who wrote ancient wisdom and personal history, stunning imagery that gave rise, and the stunning imagery that gave rise to the spiritual wisdom of the Celts and inspired him throughout his remarkable life. O'Donoghue observes, a pilgrim travels differently. Always in a pilgrimage, there is a change of mind and a change of heart. So let's, without further ado, watch our video presentation today. And it is about 55 minutes of
Hello, I'm Mike Farrell.
Please enjoy it and
raised in the west of Ireland,
off we go.
died unexpectedly in 2008 at the age of 52. John was a friend of mine. He's deeply missed, and not only by those of us who knew him. He touched the lives of people all over the world through his poetry and his best-selling books on spirituality. John O'Donoghue was called a man of the soul. A former Catholic priest, he held a doctorate in German philosophy. He was clearly the most broadly and deeply educated person I've ever known. But beyond that, I'll never forget his great heart, his wonderful, booming laugh, his care for others, his appetite for life. John had a lot of